Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Okay, well, long story short, we're down again today. This is getting pretty insane. Let's pull up our links first. Here we are. I can hear myself. Cool. Where's Discord? Oh yes, Discord updated. That's cool. All right. And Twitch. Okay, so I believe we have some news today. Let's look at that first. Okay, so we got some 6:30 news. So we'll take a look at that, especially personal spending and personal income, which I think are going to be important given the GDP numbers that we had yesterday. And we are getting some significant volume coming in here before the market opens. They're pushing it lower again. Man, what is going on? So, is there a piece of news happened overnight that I am not aware of? Because this is just crazy. Treasury yield falling dollar. Global bond sell-off linked to the realization that combination Federal Reserve and Central Reserve is slowly shifting from quantitative easing to neutral in the near term and actual combined balance sheet reduction later this year. Okay. Welcome to 3 months ago, guys. What the heck? Okay. Well, we're just gonna let it do its thing. Let's look at the crypto markets. Oh yes, we had a very, very nice move overnight there. We're still kind of fighting here around this. Yeah, I mean we're higher, but it hasn't really taken off yet, has it? Let's just take a quick look at Delta on our phone here. It's the application that I'm using to keep track of my portfolio. So I'm actually down a little bit from yesterday because C-Coin probably, yep. C-Coin down a little bit. Overall, we haven't really moved the needle a whole lot. And there is some concern here. I'm just gonna pull up here. This is like a subreddit of all Reddit cryptos. Blah 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 blah. No, I haven't seen anything yet. There's a lot of concern the past day or so about Tether, and the Tether was being audited, and they've terminated the relationship with the auditor, and we don't know why. And I believe we're supposed to get an update about an explanation today. So not necessarily a huge deal, but it is a potential problem. And meanwhile, Koreans are able to create new accounts and deposit new funds today. Now, it could take a little while for us to see that, but I am expecting to see us go up this week. So there's that too. Well, let's pull up the chat and see. We got some people in here now. Yeah, just a few. Okay, well, if I'm just gonna wait for people to filter in here and take a few bites. I don't want to trade this until we've had a more significant pullback and the news is out. So.
Block sell.
Good morning, Dan. Phew, I was a little concerned there, because I didn't like my password, but I just typed it in wrong. Okay, so this was a block sell and he lost. So we could start going up into the news. Looks like that that block buy order or that block sell order really lost. We made a good 4 ticks since it. Are they gonna make it back to the VWAP? What do you think? Are we out of bear territory with Bitcoin? Well, I think, let me pull this chart over. So the level that I was watching was really, I wanted us to get above this 11.5, what was it? I think it was 11.5 was where I wanted us to get above. Yeah. So we're still not like out of the woods, but this candle here in particular was really good. Oh wait, I'm looking at a 5-minute chart. That's part of our problem. That's why I'm like, this doesn't look right. Okay, so here, this 11.5 area, you know, we've just kind of had a really hard time holding it. So I really want us to stay above 11.5. Now we are at a decent support level. And we do have a good slight uptrend. We do have some good fundamentals behind us with the Koreans opening up purchases again. So I do believe the probability is that we're going to be up by the end of the week, but we really need to beat this 1200 and then this 1300. Once we're above there, then I think that you're going to be more in the like bottom confirmed, a lot more people being confident in buying. So yeah. Man, treasuries are just a monster right now. All the way back to the VWAP for sure. That would have been an 8-tick trade. That we didn't take because we were running into news. Well, that's unfortunate. But treasuries are moving on a Monday, so that's something. Yeah, I think we're going to be okay as long as Tether doesn't come out with their report on their dealings with their auditor and say, well, we didn't like that the auditor was saying we were doing something fraudulent, so we got rid of. As long as they don't say that, I think we're okay. It looks like it turned previous resistance into support. Yes, I agree. He's talking about this area right here. It looks like this area that was resistance before is now holding us up. This is a pretty decent downturn overnight, but it wasn't like dramatic. It wasn't like this candle, right? So the shorts are actually being a little less aggressive. But we're still not seeing like the inflows, you know? Yeah, it's still too early to say. Yeah. And we could come back and touch this, well, so first of all, this line right here is useless now. We could come back and touch this support line again, and maybe even go through it, but I do think that we came up and we got support, but the volume is important. We really need to see some inflows coming in. Now, the other thing I'm seeing that I should point out is here in the futures. The futures went fairly significantly short. Well, I mean, negative 280 to 300, I guess isn't a huge, right? About 20 contracts short, but it's more contracts short than last Friday. Maybe that's because of the contract rollover? I don't know. They're putting it on here, though. Let's see if these guys have to puke. I mean, there's a good chance here we're going to come back to the VWAP, and let's see if these guys get out. I don't see anything on this one, the data mesh. I don't really see anything terribly significant. A couple of people went long and then got it off. A couple of people went short as it started going down, but nothing like significant. This is just following price. No divergence. Yeah, time to wreck those shorts. Well, I kind of wonder if at this point, if the shorts are all the majority of the ones that were trying really hard, if they're not out by now. We need new buyers is what we need. Where is that going to come from? So that's another problem that you might have is what if price went down and the majority of market participants held through it? Then that doesn't really give us a whole lot of people to buy right now, does it? We would have to do something to bring in new investors, which would make it harder to get back to that high, you know. What I want to see is people that took profits get back in. But I don't know how you know, it's kind of like in Mt. Gox, for instance, you know, the money was gone, so nobody could do that. And that's why when we had a short covering rally, there just wasn't even close to enough support to take us to a new high after Mt. Gox, because, you know, all of those market participants got wiped out and just left the market. Selling definitely seems less aggressive than prior to the CME closure. Yeah, I agree. I don't think that the CME was like causing price to go down, but it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. A bunch of people out there that think they're smarter than everybody else seem to believe some conspiracy theory that the futures only exist to bring down Bitcoin price. Ergo, they shorted it. That's, you know what I mean? And so it went down, but in the long run, you know, over the past week, what did they really get for their efforts? Good morning, Rackley. Well, we need that buy volume to come in, otherwise we just go sideways. You can only go sideways for so long, though. You know? So we had a step up, that's good. But if we don't get the buying coming in, you could get like a step down. Or you could get one of those like impulsive reversal type patterns. You know, like let's see, do we have an example? You know, so like here on the way down, we've had impulsive reversals, is what I call them. So like a big candle down followed by a big candle up. I'm wondering if we really don't get the buying support, you could see a situation where all of the market makers go long and they don't have enough support and then they fail, and you could get one of these on the other side. Have we had one on the other side? Not in a while. Maybe one like this. Yeah. This. That sort of a thing. If we don't get the buying support that we need. Good morning, Anthony. Okay, so the news is past us now. While I was yapping. And I didn't see a huge reaction to it. They didn't pull. These are important numbers, though. Let's see. Personal spending was 0.4 versus 0.5 expected. Personal income was 0.4 versus 0.3. Okay, that's interesting. So they're actually making more money than we thought they would, but they're not spending it as much as we thought they would. And the price index is still 0.2, which is probably why they didn't really react. Oh, we only got... Man, that's disappointing. We're still only to 60 garlic coins over the weekend. I let it mine literally all weekend. Literally all weekend. And we were like at 40. So difficulty is actually going up a little bit in garlic coin, which sucks. But I have another video card coming in, hopefully Wednesday. And that should help. I hope. I wish they would change the minimum payout amount, because I'm tired of seeing all of these 0.1s. This is a little annoying. I know that there's not like really transaction fees in garlic coin right now, but I would just rather them like do it every time I get one or something like that. Be easier to look at the transactions. Too many transactions. What news? Yeah, you're probably saying that before I showed you the Forex Factory stuff. Yeah, now I think some of you guys missed it because I was talking about it before I came in, but one of the things that I'm noticing a lot of discussion out there about is the whole Tether thing, because there was an announcement made that Tether was dissolving the relationship with their auditor and that they were going to provide an explanation later. So I don't think that that's any reason for panic yet, but let's see what they have to say first. I mean, there is a lot of people out there that think that Tether is like fraudulent, and I think that we're okay until something is actually proven that it is. Now, if it was proven to be fraudulent, then it would be awful. I would just sell everything, but that hasn't happened yet, so we're just kind of sitting tight. I'm hoping that what happens is they come out and they say the auditor wasn't actually doing the work. They weren't doing anything, and so we terminated the relationship so we can get somebody else or something like that. And the other guys will say, well, they were being difficult or something. I don't know. Just as long as they don't come out and say, yeah, the auditor said that we shouldn't be able to do this and this, and we can, so that's why we did it. YouTube pretend gurus promised me a big Bitcoin rally today. Sorry, it just got on. while you ended talking about it. Yeah. Well, so here's the thing is I think that the best fundamental piece of news that we have right now to say up is that starting today, South Koreans are able to open new accounts and deposit funds. Yeah. But I mean, the thing is just, I'm just thinking about me. When I deposited my funds, it took a week for the funds to get in there. Now, hopefully not everybody does it on a weekend and everything like that. But if that's what's going to drive the market up higher, it might not be until like Wednesday, you know, that we actually see the results of that. If Tether is guilty, how much could the market go down? Man, that's a good question. So the thing that makes it difficult is because we're already in a low spot. Yeah. So it's a lot better that this happens down at the bottom than it would up at the top. But I think that if we sit back and we say, oh, hey, all of this money that has driven us up the past year was fake, I think that there would be a good chance that we would go back to like one of the last major collapses. So the 8,000 level is still kind of in there, but then this one way back here, like this 5,000, would be a good target too. Bitfinex will pump on Tether FUD. No one wants to stay in USD. Yeah, so I'm noticing that as well, that people are selling their USDT, and that is actually pushing up some altcoins, which is kind of interesting. But I would just say, I mean, here's the thing: if that Tether was fraudulent, that's a lot of supply, and I know that it's when you look at the overall market, it's only a very small fraction of the overall market, but that's still a pretty significant imbalance in supply and demand if they disappear. So not only would we have a short-term drop, but it would probably lead to a bear for a extended period of time until we got low enough that supply and demand equalized again. Yeah, if money was fake, there would be a bigger premium Bitfinex to Coinbase. Well, it has. The thing is that Bitfinex has been on many occasions. Bitfinex has driven the price. When we've seen Tether prints, Bitfinex drove price, right? So I don't know. At the moment, I don't think there's I don't see any there. But it's a risk that we have to consider, right? I'd like to see some arbitrage come in on Coinbase today to buy. Around 4K because Bitcoin was already pumping in October when it was at 5K. Okay, sure. Yeah, the only thing that gives me pause is like, what would that read like on my indicator? Because I've never seen the indicator go below 40. And I don't think that it will. So they wouldn't be able to just go down all in one leg, right? It would have to go along with volume. Now, of course, if that happened, I also think that, you know, you would see a crescendo sell event followed by a recovery, and then maybe the volume disappears and the slow fade and the indicator would be able to stay in balance. But okay, 5K was when I got in and it was already in the news, French news. Yeah. So Jeffrey agrees with me that it's a risk to consider, but right now I don't see any there. Yeah. We have to see what they say. We have to see what they say. They do need to do an audit though. I mean, seriously. Oh, so I haven't run it today yet. Let's do that. What's this indicator say? Okay, well, today's reading is 58. So I'm not quite sure how to read that particular number in terms of, I mean, it's not 100. So that's good. But I mean, in terms of like, was that a good rise on terms of if we have another push up, will we make a new high? I can't say. You can see it's just kind of zigging around here at the bottom. See, what we want to see is something like this. Okay. Especially this area right here, especially this area. This was the most healthy movement that we had in Bitcoin, right? It comes up, we have peaks, we have pullbacks, but we never quite hit the overbought, we never quite hit the oversold. This is a good action right here. What we don't want to see is this right here, where we go almost immediately from, well, not this one, but this one in particular, where we go almost immediately from underbought to oversold and well over it all at once. That's what we're concerned about. That's where we could get a lower high and complete fall off it, like what happened post Mt. Gox. So that's the risk. Yeah, let's have another push up, then we can worry about a new high. Yeah, and just saying, because my overall theory is that we're going to have another push up towards the all-time highs. That's what I think is going. That's what I mean. The indicator is saying essentially buy last week. So, and now it's saying that we're starting to move back up. But it's hard to say. I mean, the indicator, the problem I'm having with the indicator right now, and it's a good problem to have, is that it's too early. It'll start saying we're overbought, and then there's still another pump or two in it. And same on the other side. It said that we bottomed out, but then there was another push down. Okay, so there was a significant push up there. In the note, I'm thinking about taking it long. How far can we take this? Up to 265? Sure. Let's buy it. Oh, I got a deafened Discord, so I didn't even hear the stuff they were saying. Key levels broken in the German curve. 5-year above 0% for the first time in 2 years. U.S. yields broke yesterday, lead exponential huge volume. For outright mini shorts triggered nothing more. Change of sign shouldn't have implications for financing structures, trades, positions, and other markets. Stirs are generally used for that, but who knows? Nothing special for curve players, probably more spread players trading EU versus US. That was alligator. I think that we're going to retrace a bit of this. Earlier, I exchanged some Bitcoin in fiat and was extremely surprised at how the newbies were treated. I asked, how was the business? And the guys were saying that was much crazier 2 weeks ago when a Bitcoin was 2K. Or you mean like 20K? Smiling says, I think we are range bound for a few weeks before the next climb to all-time highs. I think that that's a possibility too. F01. There's a possibility that we could continue to range here well into February. And it might not be until the later half of February and March until we start to see a real push up. Let me take a bite here.
Master Yoda said think they will do some pullback. Master Yoda said but they are buying aggressive. Alligator said playing a classic pullback, but I'm concerned with the huge O/N volume. Master Yoda said exactly. Alligator said they could defend it. Alligator said why?
Block sell.
IQ said 12 tick pullback ZB. Alligator said usually this pullback is piece of cake for US traders / MMS.
Okay, so there was the block stall. Let's see if they do what they did to him last time.
Alligator said but today we've almost won lots overnight.
It's kind of curious. I don't see that 3K sell at VWAP. Look what's happening here in the 5-year, 1534 going through. It looks like they're going to break through it. Notice it's on both sides too. Okay. The buyers did win and held it for the time being. Not a whole lot put up. Nobody buying 257 yet. So unfortunate that I'm already in a position because I would prefer to watch this play out.
Alligator said, from my experience in the bund when there was a lot of volume/volatility, market makers couldn't/didn't want to absorb the flow, so after 1 hour pullback trend resumed. Master Yoda said looks loc absorption at 180 to 148.01.
I think they're tucking UB there. There's a bull flag on the BCH BTC pair, not seeing anything on their USD pairs though. My so on the when people got in, my reading from just looking at the chart and where the volume spikes are, the majority of participants that got into Bitcoin have lost money. That doesn't mean that like overall the money has been underwater, but just the majority of participants have lost money. And what's happening right now, I think, is they lost.
Master Yoda said gyizo.com.
But it wasn't a ton. They probably didn't stick a whole lot in. And so they're just kind of embarrassed and not saying anything about it and holding it. And if we get like a new high or whatever, and then we have another crash, they might start feeling embarrassed. Okay, that's our signal to ditch this. Okay. Oh yeah, scaling in and out is definitely the way to do it, right? Because you can make a lot of money playing the swings for sure, but you don't want to miss like a big move up. So it kind of gives you the best of both worlds. You still make the huge profit when it goes up, but because you never completely get in and out, but you're still increasing your alpha by playing the swings. Oh, hey Peter, how's it going? Thank you for viewing. By the way, if you've never checked out the Discord channel that's in the link, you should definitely check out the Discord channel. I think you would like what you see in the Discord. So we're going to see an iceberg at 23 halves again when they hit it. Discord is dead except when Seth is on. The Bitcoin channel actually has Rackley is in there. I think it's mostly Rackley, but we talk all day. The thing is it only takes one person being really active in Discord to get people chatting. Yeah, I don't pay a lot of attention to what the dollar value of my portfolio is. I'm more interested in growing the amount of coins I have. Well, that is a good point. If you're playing, especially if you're playing altcoins, you know, a lot of these swings, even though you go up a significant portion in your altcoin, it's not like, that's not like the major play, right? Because with the altcoins, you're expecting it to go up like 10 times. And so the 10% gain doesn't matter. The fact that you doubled the number of coins that you have is what matters. Whale pool is the nuts crypto chat. Dude, I have not found a crypto chat Discord other than what we have that I could stand watching.
Imo, it's going to be at least an hour rotating through 245/225 after we saw such a huge move on the open.
Oh, look at that.
Shorts are licking their wounds and kicking the dog, while longs are.
What was the rest of Tucker's? Well, longs are scaling out and kissing the keyboard. Okay, well, we did get through the 23 half and there was no iceberg there. Yeah, but now they're attacking the 24. I want that. You can try it again. That first one, we were too early. And look at the 5-year. We're up 2 ticks. Darn. Okay. Well, that sucks, but we're still within tolerance because 27 is where we want to get out. And that would give us 5 ticks, so I think we're okay. If you come into Whale Pool TeamSpeak, I'll get you into the Lion's Den. Am I on that one? I may already be on there. I don't know. I don't want to mess with it right now. You post the link in the stream channel and I'll join it later. This is probably why I'm in love with KCS. I'm really mad at KCS right now for going back up to 10 so quickly. A bit of robots there. Well, the thing I find interesting about altcoins trading is that you can put an order in and immediately see all of the robots respond to you, even just like a teeny tiny little order. The market is a little deceptive because there's so many robots. There's not actually as many people trading these things as it appears when you're just looking at the order book. And that, I think, is really interesting. Excuse me.
Alligator said seems bulls are well and alive.
Yeah, I like that right there. It's unfortunate that I didn't hold that first one longer, but it did not look good, did it? I mean, I didn't want to fight that guy, and we were at, what, 22 halves? It was bad entry. Not that I made a mistake. I mean, maybe I made a mistake. I should check replay to see if there was something there that would have told me to get out. But I think that was just one where he had an edge and he came in and a much bigger fish came in and ruined it. You notice that this order I've had resting here hasn't been filled. It may yet happen, though.
Tucker said Seth, I was long 235 around 645 and pulled it out for just +1. I feel the pain on missing the long.
Yeah, that sucks, dude. It's frustrating, right? And the thing is it's been like this during the active part of the sessions a lot lately, where there's just so many participants fighting it out that they just can't push it either way. And you end up thinking that something's going to happen and then it doesn't. Those are the worst
Master
for me.
Yoda said S04.
Because you'll get a bunch of false signals. Although this action is still looking positive. I mean, they did trade down and 24 was pulling, but you notice they pulled it and like one contract went through. And then when we ticked back up, the guys at 25 immediately started pulling. Bitcoin is also making a move up, and the futures traders are still net short or going short. So we're still asking ourselves if we're gonna see a short run here, or if the guys going short know something we don't know.
Tucker said I see plenty of garbage trade all day long. It's all about making the most of those couple opportunities that are begging trade me.
Yeah. I have a tendency to overtrade, and I think that last week I was falling into that a little bit, especially on Friday. You know, I typically only want to take 2 to 4 trades a day. And there was days where I took more than that. And when you look at the month overall, I have a decent amount of profit, but I took so many trades that it's almost nothing when you factor in the commissions. So I really need to focus on being more patient and not letting those areas, because we might see a lot of that, not letting those areas pull me in. I also need to figure out why some of the trades that I cut off keep going. Because I've had a couple
Master
where I
Yoda
took
said
4 and I could have
interesting.
gotten 8 to 10.
They lifted market up for a 7 ticks but met in resistance. Tucker said I intentionally don't trade Fridays anymore. Partly decision exhaustion by the end of the week, partly that I've absolutely hemorrhaged in the ES on Fridays.
Oh, that's interesting. You know, I asked the No BS day trading guy, like, you know, I noticed that I tend to have problems on certain days and certain times of the month, and what is the deal with that? And my theory at the time was, well, that must be when people are like opening and closing positions, and so that's why the order flow messes me up. But he pointed out that when you look at the open interest, that it's only like 5% of the order flow actually stays in, and so that kind of shot down that theory. And there is good opportunity on Friday. I think it's just that when you have a move on Friday, it tends to be a pretty big one. And sometimes you trade it wrong. You just remember those. So that may just be our own bias, right? We remember the pain from the Fridays, and we don't remember that, oh, hey, if I had made this different decision and
Alligator
played
said
it correctly.
Friday is always the hardest day for me too. Prefer to shorten it now.
Yeah. Well, now the other thing on Friday though is for sure once the trade has happened and it's done, and you want to be like, okay, maybe it'll come back now, or we'll take the next leg, or no, you just got to cut it off right there. Once it's made the move, and it doesn't do anything Fridays. That's what I had to do on Friday. Because we had this, right? I missed this, and then yeah. Yeah, but I think the reason why it happens to a lot of people is like I went long here because I got that, like, the one situation where like I'm willing to fade a move like that, and I think it was actually right here, and it stopped me out, and then I did get the move that I wanted, and at that point it was like, well, crap, and I wanted to take another trade, but I stopped right there because it was like, okay, the move is over. It's not going to do anything the rest of the day. And you can see if I had tried taking something, like if I tried taking along there, I just would have kept getting screwed. You might trade off the Friday news and then walk away. That's my current strategy on that particular issue. Now, of course, last Friday was a little different because it didn't move off of the news. The news came out. It was supposed to push us up. We ranged there for a little bit and then did nothing forever. And then the shorts took it down big time. Like, super crazy for no reason. Well, dollar weakness, I guess. Okay, so this bid at 24 is staying strong despite people hitting it. I think we should be able to take this one tick here to improve our position. And the 5-year is still up a tick. I don't like what I'm seeing in ZB though. Eh. No buying at 24 halves yet. So we're going to take these off and just take the one. Because this should have just gone. Okay. Maybe we'll just put the one on. Come on. This is 5 years what they're watching, I think. You see it. No reason to be taking it anywhere past where it is right now because they're not attacking that 26 quarter. I learned the hard way that knowing when to cut losses is even more important than knowing when to take profit. Well, the cutting losses is going to get you to break even a lot faster, that's for sure. But I've found that when you take losses, it's going to be like that one day. So just knowing when to cut that one day short is really, really important. That's a problem I have, at least. So I should have stopped on Friday faster than I did. If you were there and you recall, I was a little tilted. Ew. I did not like that. Okay. Okay. I feel much better now. Now we're in an okay spot. Jeffrey Hamilton, she said, I only want to take 2 trades a week. Wow. Are you trading futures? I mean, if it's, cryptocurrencies, then that's a different matter. With cryptocurrencies, I'm hoping to only just do my monthly investments and portfolio reallocations, and that's it. Very nice. So they're looking a little more confident because they're 5 years attacking that 26 half again. Need to see that 26 half pull. Nope. Oh, somebody was asking for Korean exchanges will allow new registrations and deposits tomorrow. What's the source for that? I would have to go back and search the subreddit for that. Yeah. Jeffrey is saying my liquidation level on the 25x is my stop. I will cut losses manually if I see something before then. Yeah, same here. That's exactly what we do in ZN, right? I never want to lose more than 4 ticks, but generally speaking, I should see something before then to tell me that my position is a bad one. If I keep on to one for more than a 2-tick loss, it's because I'm still seeing buying signals down at that new level, basically just telling me that I picked the wrong price, but I still have the trade right. Then I might keep it, but the way that we trade here with the scalping, you don't leave very much room for loss. You just say, okay, I got in at the wrong spot, or I was wrong, and I got to wait for another signal. Well, that 25 is not playing along. They want to be filled. Makes sense. I got caught when I kept adding to avoid the liquidation. Yeah, so that's another one. Man, like the scaling in when something's going against you. Okay, like I did kind of do that. I got in at 24.5, and then I saw, well, I wanted to get in at 24, and I didn't get filled, and then I punched in at 24.5. And because I had a good position in the queue, I decided to leave the 24 on the thought that I should be able to just take the 1 tick between 24 and 24.5 pretty easily because of my spot in the queue, right? But if that had gone against me and people started aggressively hitting into 23 halves, then all of a sudden I'm like double my loss, right? And I could have very easily have taken a -3, 4, 5 ticks there if that had not gone correctly. And what some people will do is they'll get in and let it go 4 ticks against them, which is like where my stop would be. And then they would say, okay, now I'm just going to buy it again, and then let it come back to the midpoint. And if they still don't see it as long, then they'll get out. So they try and scale out their losses. And you will find if you do that, you actually get a very good win rate if you do that. It actually works out a lot, about half the time. So if you win-lose 50% of the time, and then you do that trick, and that works out 50% of the time, then you actually end up with a win rate that's like between 60 and 80%. The problem is that 25% of the time where it doesn't work, you're taking twice the loss that you would want to. And so I've seen it with a number of people where they do really well with that and they can actually get funded on combines, but there's that one day is just lurking there. Sooner or later that one day comes and they just get wiped out in one day, which is very, very bad, right? You need to make sure that that the way that I would determine my scaling is what is a really bad day for me, and allow me to have a lot of really bad days in a row and still be able to keep my account. Yeah, exactly. It worked before, but then took a bigger loss when it didn't work. My biggest problem is not getting good positions, it is taking profit. So with that one, I think it's good. Well, so there's two things. One, if you're trading multiple lots, so definitely, if you're trading multiple lots, you could do the half and half sort of a thing, right? Like you can say, I'm always going to take half of it off after 4 ticks, and then I'm going to let the rest ride, right? Because then you're always going to get a little bit, and every once in a while you will get that one that rides. But that I've found works really well. Like you take 2 lots, and then you take the first lot off at 4, and you let the second lot ride until you see a signal to get out. I always get too greedy. Oh, it's up. Yeah, it will keep going up, right? Yeah, and that's another thing with like the cryptocurrencies. Like man. So here's my suggestion for you crypto traders. If your objective is to get rich, then by all means continue to just trade cryptocurrencies and get good at that, and you're gonna swing big and you're gonna get lucky one day and you're gonna make the money that you want and you're gonna be happy. If your objective is to become a really good market maker, don't trade cryptocurrencies first because you're going to get fooled into thinking that everything always goes up, right? If you want to be a good market maker, trade bonds first and get good at that, and then move over to other markets. Ooh. So here's one of these spots where I would be like, I get out, but then like there's a good possibility that's going to go through here. This is a level break setup, really. 267. I mean, the 5-year still looks good, so I think I'm going to leave that one on, but I'm going to move my stop up for sure. Okay, that was quite a bit they put up there on that tick down. See, the 5-year is not ready to try and take out that 27, but I'm going to guess that these are profit takers. The 09 and the 30-year. Was this a significant spot earlier? It was 26.5 was the last pivot. So that's a little bit better. Maybe if both of these could tick up, we could see, no? Okay. Curious. And that yet the 5-year is still. I wonder if you get one of those situations where everybody that wants to take profits ends up doing it here at 25.5, 26.75 in the 5-year, and then 26 ends up being not such a big deal because everybody had already gotten out. Okay, well, now 25 is, yeah, okay. So I think I'm gonna have to try for getting out in the middle of the zipper now. How many ticks was that? How many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So if it's going to break out to the upside, it's gonna have to do it in the next tick up. Oh, nope, they're already touched 24 halves, so that messes up that trade. So in Bitcoin, it was somebody saying a 4-hour blue candle printing on Bitcoin 2-day CRUP closed last night. We're not quite back to the VWAP, so that's still the thing I'm watching. How's the bunny? The bunny has gotten so big. Oh my gosh. I'm like shocked. This is not good. You know I'm not getting the price that I want when I have 3 exit orders in there. Yeah, well, we got the bunny, you know, like the minimum that it could leave mom, and she's like twice as big as she was. And I don't really know a whole lot about bunny development, but she's starting to like run around the little playpen that we got for her, so that's good. But she's not like, she could easily jump out of the playpen, and she doesn't do that. So she says pretty content to just kind of waddle around it and sniff around things and bite the blanket. So the bunny's absolutely not allowed on carpet. Okay, well that trade just took us to break even essentially. Oh, actually, I take that back because we only got 1 tick off of that one, huh? Sucks. Everybody's like, oh, nothing happened. He didn't get it. This is lame. The numbers went down a little bit there. Yeah, that came back awfully fast, didn't it? I think that I should have realized faster. I mean, I said, oh, these guys are profit takers. But I should have realized sooner that if they were all taking profits, that means there's nobody else is going to come in to buy. So a bit of a mistake, because it did give us a chance to get out at 25 half, and I didn't take it. So a bit of a mistake there. Even though overall the trade I thought was okay. Yeah. Okay, this is kind of what I was expecting to see here at 23 halves 23. Is just going right through it, pulling. You might see a what do we call this now? A lure. This might be a lure here at 23 halves. Notice that we came back, that the cumulative delta didn't really change. Okay. So now they're adding on because the ZF took another tick. See, that's negative, very negative right there, but this is kind of odd. Okay, that one's going down too. Yeah. I think we're going to get pushed down here because the E-mini is really taking a run. What is the sentiment for Bitcoin on the CME futures right now? Bullish / bearish? So I'm gonna have to say bearish. Let's just erase everything that happened last week because there was all of this stuff about them expiring, and so we'll just pretend that that doesn't matter. Everything since today has been down, even on this move up, which I thought we should have gotten a lot more buying support on. I mean, I'd expect us to come back to the VWAP and then make a push up, but so far it's just been down. So I kind of want to see when we get the next buying spike what this does before I read too much into it. But at the moment, it looks like it's down. So I would say down, but I wouldn't read too much into it yet. Okay, so there was an iceberg there. Interesting. Is the ZB gonna bounce here? Is it gonna do the VWAP bounce? They would have to touch 6. Well, actually 7. Yeah, this action in the note just looks like a lot of market makers trying to make something happen and not having much success. I don't know if there are bigger boys sitting under there willing to really push it a certain direction or not, but they have not revealed themselves yet if they are. So we're just gonna wait. Back to normal numbers now. Good. Looks like Top Step Trader's doing live broadcasts now. That's going. I'm gonna have to check out their recordings a little later. See if they doing anything interesting with it. New footprint edge course by Axia Futures. Okay, well, we did not hit the 6 ticks necessary to say that that was not a sorry. I mean, if we had hit the 6 ticks away from the VWAP, then that would have said that this is more than just a pullback. But now that we didn't hit that, it looks a lot like a head and shoulders in CB. Especially if we get some sort of sell initiation volume here in CB. It's too early to say because that was definitely. Let me pull the cumulative delta so you can see. That was definitely a look, here's the high, and then we made another push and there wasn't nearly enough interest and we came back. But you could come back here and they could say, oh, actually, I still want it, and then really start buying it here. That's why you really want to see the confirming sell, accelerating selling here on the right shoulder for it to be confirmed head and shoulders. Yeah, but it's just kind of still ranging here. Yes, taking a dive, yeah. Okay. Well, gee. Interesting that there's an iceberg there now at 24. So I think I'm going to take this one. I'm going to be super cautious though. Oh gosh, come on. It's like they're not, nothing's holding either side. They're all just pulling. Nobody's selling this either. I'm curious. We're gonna get another iceberg right here. Not sure if any of what we're seeing means anything. Hmm. I'm not quite sure what to make of the E-mini over here, and that might be a deciding factor. That's a pretty big iceberg there, 23 halves. And they're probably going to clear it because they cleared this and the ZF pretty easily. Ugh. Okay. At least one guy's got stopped out there and bought 24. Well, they broke through the iceberg, but they're having an awful hard time holding 23 halves still. There. Okay. 19, that's much better. $21 this time. So even better. But no pulling at 24. Getting sleepy here. Come on. Okay, there's a little bit of pulling. Or was that just the orders going through? I guess that was just the orders going through. Okay. Nope. Hi, Eric Cages. How are you today? Need to keep myself going here because I think I let the Dom hypnotize me there for a moment. Waiting for that 24 to pull. The E-mini looks pretty weak there. Well, they pushed down, but we didn't. The E-mini pushed down back to its low of the day, but the bonds haven't broken out or anything. Now, if the E-mini makes a new low, then we might see bonds break out to the upside. But it remains to be seen if that will actually happen. Okay, so there has been some pulling now at 24. We've gotten from 4,000s down to 26. That bid and the 5-year looks better. Oh, curious. The sellers hit it and they absorbed all of it. See right here. You guys hear that in the background? I hope you can't. It's a little embarrassing. Oh, that's not what we want to see. Big iceberg there, 25 half, and they pushed through it. And now we're seeing a bit of pulling at 23. And yuck. ZF cumulative delta really selling. Yeah, you directly can hear it. The perfect way of pointing of saying yes, we can hear that. Well, I don't even want to wait for this to stop me out, man. Man. Okay, so we would have stopped. We would have hit the stop, so. Definitely would have hit it now. So this is the first time since basically the beginning of the session that we've had to really go short. I guess we've been given little glimmers of short side, but not a lot. Snap. Look at that. For some reason, Jigsaw didn't put my stop in there. Okay, some initiation at 22 now. That's a lot of selling. Are they really gonna hold it here at 22? Man, I don't know. I can't imagine after all of that long and it not going anywhere, and then it coming down to 22 and being like, this is where I want it now. This is where I want my iceberg. Clearly, something going on here that I don't understand. Connected my miner with a cable earlier. My Wi-Fi feels so fast night and day. Didn't expect it made that much difference. Well, yeah, but the latency is just not very good on Wi-Fi because you get packet loss and stuff. So it would check up. It's going to check up with the pool more often. So, like sometimes you'll get you'll see on my miner at least a lot where I'll find one and it gets rejected because the new block has been found and I just haven't checked up on it yet. And so you get that a lot less, and so you'll do a little bit better because you're more in sync with the pool. It's kind of funny because you wouldn't think something like that would make a huge difference, but you know, that's an extra share that you mined that you didn't have to, that you could have spent mining something else. And if that happens 1 in 20, you know, there's 5% difference right there. Ugh. Okay, well, here was where we had a block buy. Look at GBTC. Which one is that? Is that the Bitcoin Gold? Hmm. Now we're gonna get iceberging here at 23. Yes. Wow. Wow. Well, they pushed through that iceberg a lot faster. But I don't know if it means anything. Mm. Hmm. I think we're triggering a lot of robots here. Wow, guys. My kids just get way too excited about everything, right? When I saw the iceberg, I should have just gotten out. This is so range bound. Any iceberg is an opportunity to take a tick, and I should just be taking it. LOL live exorcism on YouTube. I made a mistake getting French doors here. Let's too much sound through, I think. I'm just watching this and see if we want to just take a profit or a small loss here or not. Because I clearly picked the wrong spot. Ugh. Okay. Hey. Okay, that was interesting. Seller's going to make another attempt to push it lower here. Yeah. Selling seems much more aggressive than the buying, but they're still putting up big ones there. Why? Man. Hmm. You're still seeing in the ZN, the cumulative delta is just flatlined, even though in ZB and ZF we've moved down. Hmm. Yeah, I'm just noticing that the E-mini did take a slight step lower, but it didn't like fall apart. And in fact, it didn't even make a new low in cumulative deltas. So there is a possible long here in the E-mini. And if that turns out, I think that will push us back down again. And we're in the situation now that because there was an iceberg at 22 before, if not a whole lot trades there this time, we could just move right through it. Mm. Hmm. There's some big... That's interesting that the nines are separated there. Was it like that before? Yeah, it was always like that. We have some downside targets. I really think they were going to go down. There we go. Oh, come on. Here we are. It's like, okay, this is it. It's gonna fall. They're pulling, they're hitting it hard, and then what happens? All the icebergs show up again. In all three of them. There we go, yeah. Still this one. Good deal. Yeah, come on. Apparently. Well, that one was good. I don't know how much longer this kind of selling can hold up, though. You know? Hmm. Well, you know, like as soon as we get 2 ticks, it starts coming back on us. And now, look at that. Fetch. Well, we'll probably get filled, but still. This is just ridiculous. Okay. So we took 1 on that. Okay. Well, that might be my last one today. We'll see. So right now, it just does not seem like the best market action for me. And we're only down 2 ticks, but I've taken 4 trades to do that. So this might just be a good time to just save our commissions for another day. Wow, okay, now that's the second time they've done it there. I don't know what's going to happen here. Because he's bought it now at 2 levels and it hasn't gotten above. Okay, so now we're above those 2 prices. Yeah. Okay. So that's a good tick. And a 6K here. I mean, the problem is I could take it and then maybe they get to 24.5 and stop. You know? Where's their Bitcoin? I brought the chart down. Okay, so they never quite got back to the VWAP. Although I think that they're going to get back to that 1100, like 11111, and bounce off of it. 11.1 or maybe just 11,000. They might bounce off of it. Yeah, see, look, they're ticking up. Well, those block buys would have been a good edge to follow. Hi, Dave. It's like, we're still here. We're still listening. I think this kind of market gets really exhausting because you're seeing signals and you're waiting and you're looking to see if something's going to happen, and stuff does happen and it just doesn't turn out, and you can only do that for so long, you know? Hold that high attention without any reward. My indicator doesn't really seem to be telling us anything that we didn't know last Friday, other than that it's come off of its low. Like, it was 50 and now it's like 58, so it doesn't change. You know, my position is long. I got in somewhere below 11,000, somewhere between 11,000 and 10,000, and it's saying to stay in. I do think we're going to get there to that VWAP. Let's see. See this? The sellers are just really want to take it down. I expect to see 1,300 by the end of the week. I think that's a reasonable target, yeah. For sure. I mean, I think it's going to take a few days, but I think we're going to get some buyers in the market this week. Yeah. Between up to 13,000. Did I say 100? I don't think that my brain has ever fully accepted that we're all above 10,000, that we're in 5-digit numbers, or wait, what is it? Yeah, that we're in 5-digit numbers now. NXT, I don't know which one that is. What's that symbol correspond to? Oh, that's not what we want. $300 million market cap. 1 billion supply. Ooh, it took a big, wow, massive spike up in January and has now been just kind of sitting here. That's interesting. So it is at a good buy location. Yeah, let me show you the screen. So it is kind of back to support levels, and it looks like it's flattened off. So that's good as a potential buy. This is something I like to see. Own your own data. Okay, so not really telling me what's so great about it yet. Okay. Okay, so it is its own, it's like Ethereum, you can make your own tokens on it, I guess. Okay. So it's an Ethereum type of chain, but it's got some slightly different features. Am I reading that correctly? Yeah, you can see accumulation spikes. It does look like people might be accumulating that. What about settlements of the CME futures contracts on January 31st? As far as I could see, completely non-event. So if we look back to, well, are you talking, you say the 21st? Or no, sorry. Settlements of the CME futures contracts on January 31st. No. So Ruben, the CME futures contracts expire on the last Friday of the month. So they expired on, what was it, the 26th? Yes, it was on the 26th. We rolled over. We are now on February. But they had already rolled over by then. So you could see the open interest in January going down the whole week last week, and by Friday they were already completely moved over to February. So that already moved. And then the CBOE futures, those ones, they move over on like the Wednesday, the third Wednesday, or no, it's like 2 days before the third Friday of the month. So basically Wednesday. And those ones, that was the low, actually, interestingly enough. Now, I don't know if they were correlated. I can't actually see the data for the CBOE ones, but that just when you're looking at the volume corresponding to the number of contracts and everything, they're about equal. So I don't think that there's anything too significant there. There may be a correlation, but it could just be a coincidence. But at the current time, I don't see them causing any kind of movement or anything. You know, if we held this up, the way that I would determine if that was true or not, you know, or that we were seeing that is if I bring this over here and I see, okay, this just ticked up at first, and then this one ticked up. And then I would say, this one is leading this one. But that's not what we're seeing. And in fact, it kind of looks to me like it is. The cash exchanges are leading the futures. They did an airdrop of a new token. Anyways, but you also notice here, they went short, but it was a pretty big dip down considering how many people went short. That may just have been because of the roll. Now we see here, a lot of people went short. Even more people went short on relatively small drop, and they haven't really gotten out yet. And we'll see if they win or not. But I am going to, I suspect that they're going to lose. So we'll see. But at this point, we can't draw a conclusion. We have a setup, but we don't have a probabilistic edge from that setup yet, if that makes sense. Yeah. So we were right to just pass on that long, and now we're in a short area again, and it actually took a decent spill down. So is it gonna run now that we've given up? Yeah. Here we are, right down at the bottom, and what do we get? A zipper. So we're not going to take any more trades. Probably could fade this maybe, but that's not the way that I trade. It doesn't work out for me whenever I try doing that. I feel like it's the trading doldrums. Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, I think that on the open we had a really big move down, and the very first move that we got from the futures, or on the open, was back to the VWAP. And then at that point, both sides said that they didn't want to let it go any further, and the news wasn't significant. At that point, there's nothing to move this, right? I mean, there has to be a significant imbalance between buyers and sellers to make this move, and you're just not going to get that on a Monday, I find it so bizarre that even though I've seen this many times before, and I do think it's a good thing that I'm seeing this now, and I stopped 4 trades in, and yeah, I only took 4 trades, 50-50, lost 2 ticks. That's pretty good. But why didn't I? How come I can't see this after the first trade or the second trade and say, oh, this is just a range bound day, I'm just going to start fading everything? And I could have taken, if I wasn't trading with the VWAP, if I was trading against the VWAP, I could have made 4 to 8 ticks on every single one of these and had an outstanding day. But I never see that. And I don't think anybody else can really tell which one it's going to be until it's played out either. Isn't that interesting? We seem to be, at least, and this could just be us. It seems to me that the channel, and we've felt like this for a long time, it seems to me like our community is actually pretty good at telling when there's a pivot and what the overall direction is going to be as it happens. But we are not good at determining if it's going to be a range-bound day or a trend day at all. And we need to come up with better ways of determining that. Yeah. It's actually interesting because this is the same thing that we're seeing in Bitcoin, right? Anytime that we get a candle that's like, oh yeah, that's good. No, now we're actually in the clear, and they immediately smack it down. What do you mean by a range bound day? Okay, so ignore all this stuff from before because okay, so that is where the session started for us. Actually, it was 6:20, so let's back that up. Okay, so the first move was up. Okay, since then, where have we traded in relation to the volume weighted average price? We've gotten a little bit above it, then we've gotten a little bit below it, and then we've gone back up to it, and now we're a little bit below it, and we're ranging. And there's a good chance, I don't know what's going to happen yet, but there's a good chance that we just go right back up to it. So that would be a range bound day. We're basically going sideways all day. Whereas a trend day would be more like this, where, we had a move down, and then we had, this was all the news, okay, and then another push down. Or, this right here, the overnight action before we came in, that is definitely a trend. That is all down. We are trading below the volume weighted average price all day. The volume weighted average price is slowly going down all day. Whereas since then, volume weighted average price is flat. Why not place a bid ask to catch the up/down swing? Well, yeah, that's exactly. I mean, the way to have played this would have been every time you come to an iceberg, fade the iceberg. Sell here, buy here, right? But if it's a trend day, that's not what you want to do, right? If it's a trend day, you get the iceberg, here or whatever, you only want to go short. You only want to go, if we're below the VWAP, always sell. Whereas on this one, it's like, okay, we're above the VWAP, we sell. We're below the VWAP, we buy. They're like complete opposites of each other. Like yeah, but if you think it's going back up, go ahead and put it in. Yeah, so like that's where, like, for instance, on Friday, the mistake that I made here was that we touched this third standard deviation, which is usually a good place for it to stop and reverse. And I went long, and what happened? Got screwed. So when you're on a trend day, fading, which is basically buying below the VWAP, almost always ends up in a loss if you hold it long enough. Whereas on a range bound day, fading today worked really well. Well, for me, in order to have a confirmation of the trend, we need to be above or below the VWAP. So you notice I did take one, like I took one here, and I got a few ticks off of it, and then it didn't go. I didn't get out fast enough. And these ticks right here were a lot faster than these ticks. Took this one, good 30 minutes for this one to happen. And then this one happened in like 5 minutes. Because I don't consider that right there, that's not a change in the daily trend to me. Where we're trading at in relation to the VWAP is how I determine trend. Because anything else is just, I end up taking too many trades. You can do it. Like I just said, there's some people in our channel, like Keith is probably the best example, that are really good at trading range bound days. I didn't see him in here today, but I'm sure that if he was trading today, he would have done really well. Whereas I tend to do much better on the trend days. But the reason I have that rule is because if you fade on a trend day, you just get absolutely creamed, right? Whereas on a range bound day like today, maybe you lose a few ticks, maybe you gain a few ticks. Just kind of depends on how well you play it, and it's not such a big deal. So overall, it's better to protect yourself against the, trading against the trend than it is to take advantage of every little swing on a range bound day. That's my yeah. See, Dave is probably, he says you look at things differently than I do. Yeah, well, you're probably more of a range bound player. But that's where I'm saying, like, you can see both sides of it if you know what type of a day it is. Like, we have highly anticipated news coming out, and the news or that the actual number significantly contradicts what the expectation was, right? Like if on Friday GDP had come out at like 1%, okay, that's gonna go up all day, right? Like at that moment, it's a trend day. You just buy it and just let it go, right? And then you know which one it's going to be. And I think you can predict the range bound days too, but I'm just not too good at that. I don't know what causes them, except for perhaps seeing lots of icebergs both sides. So let's start an experiment. I'm going to say there are more icebergs on range bound days, and so we're going to say if we see icebergs on both sides of the market, like two big icebergs on both sides of the market, we start playing it as a range bound day. That's going to be my new test, and we'll see. So today that would have worked out. We'll see what happens next time. Okay, well, it did go back up, and now we're stuck in another zipper at 22.5, where all of the icebergs were, or actually those were where the block buys were. So looks like I think we can leave it here. Bitcoin does still look like it's gonna touch the VWAP, so we'll see what they do in the afternoon. Anyways, sorry it was a boring day today, guys, but I think we still had some fun. How do I connect to you on Discord? I have the app, Guy Gale. So, Guy Gale, if you just open up the Discord and you just find my name on the list, I should be up at the top because I'm the moderator on the user list, and you can just send me a direct message that way. Also, if you're in there and you want to be able to speak in our bonds channel, because since we've started streaming, we've had trouble with some people coming into the bond channel and talking about the wrong stuff and stuff. That's why we made it so that only regulars can speak in there. So if you want access to that channel, just say something in the general channel so that we have the name to click on and somebody will add the permissions for you. So I hope that's a good enough explanation for you. And I usually, I check the Discord every 30 minutes or so. So maybe I might not respond right away, but just give me like 30 minutes to check in on it. Anyways, I have about 2 minutes before I have to get on a call, so I'm going to jump off really quick, and I will see you guys tomorrow.